And for anybody who is watching online, if you come to our workshops, every one of them is a little bit different because you're different and you have different questions, and we want to help you guys answer all those questions. So we're going to be doing helicopter rides here. I like to do helicopter rides when possible. Sometimes the helicopters aren't available, but they are available today, so we will be doing a helicopter ride. And if you haven't been on a helicopter, who's not been on a helicopter before? The main thing is you don't want to fall out. You just want to, put the seatbelt on, you'll be good. But it's a lot of fun. So we'll be giving away a helicopter ride here at 3:30, I believe, at 3. Where is Devin? D-E-V-Y-N, you're back there in the back. Devin, when the helicopter people get here, will you wave at me? Okay, you just let me know when you see them, okay? When you hear the, get in the chopper, then we'll know that the helicopter's here. Okay, so we're going to move on here and answer questions on the board here. Someone had a question. They said, why do a podcast that no one listens to? Who asked that question? Okay, what business are you in, sir? Fitness? And what city are you in? Salem, Oregon. And you have a fitness business, personal training or a group class, or what kind of training? Personal training, got it. Okay, so I'm going to give you a case study of a bunch of people real fast, and that way this will be helpful for you, okay? So one is an ungrateful prick, and I won't mention his name, but he's an ungrateful prick, and I made him millions of dollars. Second one is not an ungrateful prick, and I like him. His name is Whitney Finch, okay? And Whitney Finch has a company called Elite Training. But I've helped a lot of people, both ungrateful and grateful, make a lot of money, because money's a magnifier and makes you more of who you are. So if you're a jerk, you just become a bigger jerk. If you're a nice person, you become nice. It's just more magnifies, okay? So if you type in Tulsa Personal Training into Google, Sean, can you pull it up real quick? Tulsa Personal Training. He comes up top in Google. Not because I like him, but I do like him. He's a great guy. But if you type in Tulsa Personal Training, can you see that Elite Training comes up? You see that right there in the search results? Hopefully that's helpful. You got it? Okay. So he comes up top in the search results, in the map, and on the website. Okay? And there's 4 reasons why, and I'm going to deep dive into it. The first, and let's do this. Sean, we're going to go to the search engine portion of the conversation. I didn't plan on going there, but let's go ahead and go there now, and that way we kind of can stick these notes somewhere so that way it kind of maybe makes sense as a coherent thought here. So we're going to go to the search engine portion of the book. Sean, will you flip through and tell me what page that's on? Okay, we'll find it here. It's let's pull it up here. What page? Okay. Sean, I'll let you flip through it, and then when you find it, tell me. But what you want to do is you want to build your website on a WordPress compliant website. Okay, so WordPress. And it's very important it's on WordPress. And it's not because I don't like other platforms. It's that you, as the owner, need to know how to update your own website. Can I get an amen? Shaka Baba. You don't want to have like a web guy that custom coded it so that you can't do it. For anybody who's a consulting client of ours, we update your website, but we also make sure you have all your own passwords, your own login. So if you ever wanted to update it yourself, you could. Okay? Page 469. Aaron, I'm going to have you come up here as well. Page 469. Okay, so we're on page 469. So you want to make sure your website is on a WordPress website. We're on the same page? WordPress, page 469. Okay, flipping the page. Almost there. Great, page 469. That's where we are. All right. Then you want to make sure your website is hosted, this is a checklist, on a reliable hosting service that you can trust or that won't go down often. Okay? Next, you want to host your website with the fastest package possible. If you use GoDaddy, you want to host it on the Grow package. Then you want to make sure your website, and we mentioned, is on the WordPress platform, page 470. Page 471, it needs to be mobile compliant, and that way it complies with that. And to know if your website is mobile compliant, you can just do a Google search for Google Mobile Compliance, and it'll pop up, and you can test it. And it's always changing, so don't freak out if your website isn't mobile compliant today, but it was yesterday. It's because it's always updating. Make sense? It's like California emission standards. Who's from California? Oh, turns out your car is not compliant, that whole thing, right? Okay, next, page 471. You want to install HTTPS encryption on your website. All right, HTTP, that's the, make sure your website isn't hackable. At least that's the theory. Page 471. Then you want to install Yoast. This is where we're getting to the podcast. Yoast is a search engine plugin, and it helps you optimize your title tag and your meta tag. And every single page on your website needs to have a unique title tag and meta tag on there. And on page 471, it gives you the details. Page 472, you want to make sure your meta title is different on every page. Aaron, it has to be different on every page.
Different on every page.
Different on every page.
Duplicate content.
Yep, okay. Page 472. Then you want to make sure that you optimize every meta description. And for an example, it's on page 472. Page 473, we're almost to the podcast question. Page 472. You want to have uniquely optimized keywords on every page. We're almost to the answer to your question. Then on page 473, you have to write 1,000 words of content per page. All right? 1,000 words of original HTML content per page for the page to rank. So if you type in Tulsa firewood, who noticed the sign that says Tulsa organic firewood out there? You notice that? Did anyone have the thought, why do you have that? Do you have that thought? Did anybody have the thought about mini signs? Like, what are you doing? The grassy knoll? Because I think it's kind of funny. But, okay. And the signs are about $500 a piece, and so I thought, I like them. They're handmade, and I'm always putting up a new sign. You know, I like it. It's kind of fun. But you want to make sure that your website ranks, and so for fun sometimes, because I don't have a lot of hobbies or interests outside of growing companies and saving America, which is my new pastime. But whenever I have downtime, I like to optimize my website. So if you type in Tulsa Firewood, my website comes up top. And see if you can find the website there, Sean, Tulsa Firewood. And Aaron, I'm going to make you dumber by having you read the content on the page.
Oh, yeah.
So Tulsa Firewood, if you scroll down, there it is. That's me. Okay, that's our website. And I wrote all the words on this page myself. I didn't delegate. I didn't use AI. I didn't have an employee. I did it myself. And Aaron, can you go to Firewood Pro Tips?
Firewood Pro Tips.
Yeah,
Sean,
go there,
you
Sean.
wanna
Firewood
navigate
Pro
us?
Tips. Now, Sean, I would like for you to cue up, if you can, the soundtrack to The Last Samurai. Kind of get that in the background to create the right dramatic backdrop.
Oh, this is going to be good.
And then, Aaron, if you'll kind of get to your inner James Earl Jones
All right.
and read it to us, and everybody, your IQ will go down. So you're like, man, that conference made me dumb. I don't know what happened, but it's like I injured my cranium at that conference. This will decrease your intelligence, but it makes it rank. So about every day, 4 to 5 people in Tulsa call me and go, hey, can I buy firewood? And I go, we're all sold out. Because I don't have any product. I'm just topping Google.
And there's the catch right there. He's got a firewood company? No.
Do you see what I did there? So I wanted to test to see the market.
Well, technically, I bought half a semi-load of pinion from
We
you.
did buy a semi-load, and we sold the semi-load. We haven't bought any more. So we have no inventory, but we got a lot of marketing. Okay, pull it down a little bit there, get that perfect blend going. Now, Aaron, I really need you to get excited about it.
Okay, I am excited.
Okay,
about
go ahead and
this.
read it to
This
us,
is
Aaron.
gonna be great.
This is the content. Here you go.
At Tulsa Firewood Company, we want your overall firewood experience to be excellent. And therefore we invest the time
Sean, more
needed
music,
to
Sean.
teach you how to properly stack your firewood. Although the idea of stacking wood might seem to be an easy process, there are many things that you want to consider before you begin stacking the Tulsa firewood that you just purchased from us for 50% off. If your wood somehow becomes wet...
Hey, Stairs, can you maybe get on the mic? Maybe he doesn't have the sizzle needed. Could you try
don't
and...
think so?
Can you hop
come on
over?
over here. Come on over here.
Come on over,
okay
Stairs.
over here?
Stairs, hop on over. Can you read it over
Am
there?
I here? Yeah, I got it right here.
Okay, good. Yeah,
I
read it
got
with
right
some
here.
passion, Stairs.
Okay, we're going to the proper Tulsa firewood stacking mindset. When you begin the process of actually stacking your wood, you want to make sure that you have the right mindset to wood stacking. You want to use at least 2 stickers, which could be from something as easy as 2x4, lumber, or anything that you can find that will create a good foundation for you to stack your Tulsa firewood on. As you're diligently begin to stack the Tulsa firewood, make sure that you stack your wood in a way that it is a stable stack. Make sure that you are really mentally locked in as you stack the wood so that it doesn't begin to lean. Because if you make a massive stack of leaning wood, this could lead to your stack of wood falling on its side.
I feel inspired.
Wait, pause. Sean, kill music. I wrote this myself.
Who knew there was a mindset involved?
And the thing is, you might say, why did you write this? What is your deal? Type in Bill Belichick's #1 fan. Mr. Boston, this is for you. I come up in Google right now, top for Bill Belichick's #1 fan as well, because I think that I'm Bill Belichick's fan, #1 fan, and I devoted the time needed to be top. So I recorded. This is a real story, sir. And Aaron, you went through this part of my life, and Stairs, you did too.
I did.
I committed myself that I would be top in Google for the phrase Bill Belichick's #1 fan. This is before the Reawaken America tour. God has temporarily arrested me from these sorts of virtuous pursuits. I'm down to do the tour, but I want to go back to this. That's where I'd rather tell. So
Some people have hobbies. Clay wants to rank for Bill Belichick's #1
So
fan.
I recorded.
And about restaurants as well.
Yeah, I recorded over 80 hours of shows about Bill Belichick to be top in Google, and they're facts too. It's like, where did he go to high school? When did he start playing lacrosse? Why did he get divorced? You know, when was he the assistant coach for the Giants? How did he get started? What were his favorite books? And I was so good at the Patriots, their organization called me and asked me if I would do an interview talking about Bill Belichick, starting to get predictions about Bill Belichick. And my wife is like, what are you doing? You're doing interviews on the Patriots network? I'm like, because I'm his #1 fan, baby. And then I got a cease and desist letter from the Patriots. True story. You remember that?
I do, yeah.
Oh my gosh. So now, if you hit play on this, play one of them, Sean. Play one of the Bill Belichick podcasts. I mean, there's like 80 hours. If you want to just go down that rabbit trail, and hit play. These are real shows. I really did this.
We'll do that when we come back from the break. I don't feel totally empowered.
Sean, play
to
the
do
intro.
something.
Play
I
the
don't
intro,
have
Sean.
cycle.
Go to the
I just
intro,
wanna-
Sean.
Just a little
Don't
push
kill
of
our
the
thunder,
team.
Sean.
Time.
The School Without the BS with optometrist and entrepreneur Dr. Robert Zellner. The Forest Small Business Administration Entrepreneur of the Year in your ear, Clay Clark. It's the Thrive Time Show. 3, 2, 1.
All right, Tulsa, T-Town, welcome back
Pause.
to
Do
the
you remember
Thrive
the
Time
Steve
Show.
Bill Belichick show? It didn't matter what the topic was. I was talking about Bill Belichick. So Dr. Z is like, we're going to talk about 8 steps to accounting. And I'm like, speaking of accounting, you know who can do some great accounting is Bill Belichick. And he's 12-4. And so you have to say the keyword 6 times per 1,000 words. And I would usually say it like 20 times per one. Remember this?
I remember, because we'd be doing a show on something about business, and then Clay would just all of a sudden start talking about Bill Belichick. And I didn't know what he was doing at the time, so I'm like, what does that have to do with accounting?
When we first built the elephant in the room.
Look at how many times.
Yeah.
And
and then he'd keep coming back to it. I'm like,
When we first opened up the elephant in the room, I couldn't get my staff to get Google reviews very well. Anybody have that problem where the staff's kind of struggling? So I said, the new statement we're going to do is every time you end a statement, you have to end it with the phrase Google review. Let's try. So I'm like, how are you, Google review? Fine, Google review. And I'm like, they're like, shut up. You're not going to make. I'm like, that's the new rule. We have to. It's be in the handbook. I'll add it. We have to say Google review. And it just became like a thing where people were like, stop it. I'm like, the only thing you can make it stop it is you getting reviews. So customers started saying, because when we opened the store, who's ever opened a business from the very beginning? You're the first employee. Well, welcome into Elephant in the Room. How was your haircut today? Google review. And they go, what did you say? Google review. Could you leave one? I mean, it was like a thing. Because we had to get the most Google reviews to be top. And you might think I'm crazy. So back to this idea. If you want to be top in Google, you can either write the content, which I did for the firewood business because I wanted to write it, and I typed it myself. Or you can do a podcast. And it just depends. But whoever generates the most original content. Are we on the same page?
and you're transcribing the podcast.
Is that helpful, sir? Yep, and then transcribe it. And if you want to use words that don't accidentally rhyme with duck, you would use rev.com, but it's $1 per minute, so it's $60 per hour of content. Or if you want to use less accurate, that sometimes looks crazy, it's called Temi, Temi.com. But it doesn't matter because no one reads it anyway.
Yeah,
And the only people that read it are your employees who are trying to, look, I read some of the articles and they don't make any sense. Like, well, why are you reading the articles? Anyway, so.
I was just going to say, and just to prove his point, I went out to dinner one night and had a really terrible experience at this new restaurant in town. And I came in the next day and we were going to podcast, and I started telling Clay about it. So he turned the entire show into talking about how much I love this restaurant that I was telling him I hated. Just so
When you
I
Google
would
search
rank.
the name of the business, he comes up top for that.
Yeah, so Aaron Antis loves Society Burger. No, I don't. I hate it. But Clay wanted me to rank for loving it just so he could mock me and prove
This
the
is
point.
pre-Christ in my life, but it is a story that one needs to know. There was a man who screwed me a lot. Like, you know, have you ever been screwed? Who's been screwed? Like a lot? Like a lot. Like just in your face. Like, I owe you all these commissions, but I'm not going to pay you. Just deal with it kind of thing. You know, like deal with it. Like sue me because I don't have any assets. Go for it kind of thing. So I was like, I know what I'm going to do. So I optimized his name. So you looked up his name and the name of his company. You found his DUI. And his other DUI. And his other. So every search result for his business was his arrest record. Yeah. And he was like, stop it. I'm like, no, unless I get my commission. And then he gave me my commission, and I took it down. That's how search engines work. So search engines are good or bad in the right hands or wrong hands. Make sense? Are we on the same page? Don't do that. That was pre-Christ. Okay, but that's how that works. On the same page?
You
Okay.
didn't take down the one about me loving
No, I can't.
Society Burgers.
No,
so-
because
that's
you
still
deserve
up there
it.
because that's funny.
It's a great restaurant.
still
You're a
don't
foodie.
love
That's
it.
the problem. Okay, let's continue.
Yeah, you guys, I did that for a long time too, doing the podcast and then transcribing it. And Clay, you may have already said this, but I found that I could do the 1,000 words in about 10 minutes if I was talking.
So you have
So-
3 options for search engine content. Either A, you can write content yourself. B, you could hire our team to do it. Okay. Or 2 or 3, you could hire an outside firm. And I'm just telling you so you know this. There's BruceClay.com. BruceClay.com. He charges $300 per page of content. That's a real fact. And then you have SEO. There's a company called SEOinc.com. SEO Inc. They're about $300 a page. I don't know what you pay yourself per hour, but I would suggest it's easier to have you write it or to have us write it. We charge $12 an article, and I'm not sure what you want to pay yourself, but I would just, you want to get the most content. Is that helpful, sir? No one reads. And as a culture, and this is, I don't want to go down that rabbit trail too far, but I just want you to know, people don't read.
No, they don't.
Ever.
No.
And I have people that have lied to me with a passion about a book I've written, and I know they're lying because if they had read the book, they would have not said what they said. I have a friend of mine, he's a multi-millionaire, and he sells millions of books, and he puts his cell phone number now in books, and no one ever calls him. And I know this because I did call him, and he's like, hey, why are you calling me? I'm like, it's in the book. It says call. And he's like, no one has ever called me. He puts it in his book. It's crazy because people don't read. How many of you know what I'm saying? People just don't. Congress doesn't read before they pass legislation. Senators don't read. People don't read. People don't read. They're just like perpetually distracted. It's idiocracy. It's happening. Okay, so yeah.
Were you asking about the pages, these SEO pages? Was
Those
that
go
your
to the
question?
bottom of your site on your HTML sitemap and your XML sitemap. So if you go to Elite Training, that website, and you go to the bottom of it, you click on sitemap, that's where all of his articles are.
Yeah, the only way to access these articles that we're talking about, these pages that we're talking about, is to go through the sitemap. You wouldn't be able to get through these by clicking buttons on your site.
Unless you went to the sitemap.
Unless you went to the sitemap button.
No, the articles come up too, but no one ever reads them. And I bet against humanity, and I always win.
And the articles look like your homepage as well.
No, I mean it though. I could write on the I'm not going to do it, but I could write, "Dear customer, I hate you. Never call me. Screw you." And they would still fill out the form because people don't read ever. They just don't, and that's the thing. And there's a program called Lucky Orange where you can see where people click. So do a search, Sean. Search for Joplin Gyms, Joplin Gyms. So this is Koloff Fitness. I think he comes up in 3 of the first 12 search results. And you can kind of see that, the handiwork there. Or if you type in OKC men's haircuts. But the articles that we write, I mean, I'm not incentivizing my team to intentionally write nonsensical things, but just most people can't write. Do you know this? Are we on the same page? I thought there's a gap here. Do you know people that can write well? I mean, it's very few. Most, you know, at college now you don't have to write anymore. You know this? Are we on the same page? Pre-AI, most people just copy papers. Who knows this? Who's met a college graduate? Who went to college? I mean, I have people all the time who apply for a job we had a person apply last week for a job as a copywriter, and they go, the only thing is I don't really write. It's a true story.
I just copy.
You don't write? They go, no, I'm not. I'm more of I don't write. I'm like, but that's the job that we would need as a copywriter, which is why I just don't do that though. I'm like, how'd you go through college? They're like, well, there's like sites and stuff I can use. And most people don't write. They can't write or read. It's pretty awesome. Okay, next one. What's the next question here?
Next question is Google Maps, no physical location.
Yeah, you need
What's
to
the
have a
workaround?
Google Map. So you'll need one. And the workaround is to get one. What?
All right, so let's talk details.
Yeah.
So what I did is I used my post office box, but I
Yep.
didn't put the box on it.
You used your post office box but didn't put the box on it?
I put the physical address of the actual, and I got flagged.
Yeah.
I got to come up with something else.
Yeah, you're going to have an office because you have to have a Google Map. So Google currently makes you film the front door, show a desk.
Yep.
So I have multiple clients that will register a Google Map to an office they'll never go to again. But it's just like a Yellow Page ad. I used to pay $2,500 a month for a Yellow Page ad. You pay $300 for a month for an office you never go to, but you got to come up in the search results. It's just kind of a thing. Who's ever had the thought, why do I have to pay franchise tax when I'm not a franchise? Who's had that thought? Who's paid franchise? End of the year, taxes, state of Oklahoma, you get that tax? They just arbitrarily say, we believe your net worth is this much, and so here's your tax bill. Have you got this? Aaron, you get this?
I have not gotten this.
It's incredible. It's incredible. How about a tax assessment recently where all of a sudden your property value went up, but you didn't buy a bigger house and your tax bill just went up? Who's discovered this?
Definitely had
This
that.
is like a Google map. It just is a thing. Okay, next.
Clay, I am now the vice chair of the tax committee.
Are you a Freemason?
I got put onto that committee as the vice chair.
Okay.
So all tax law will start going through me.
Okay, next.
Let's see. Podcasts no one listens to.
We got
Question
that
mark.
one. We can kill
got
that
one. Bingo.
Yep, okay.
No brainer. I did that last time. No brainer ideas for service base.
Anybody? Yes, ma'am.
I'm here this time.
Okay.
That was the no-brainer for the service.
Yeah, what do you got?
Okay, so for those of us that have a service-based company, so I know you did the dollar for the wedding
What kind of service do you have?
counseling.
Marriage counseling?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you what I did for a very nice man, and I helped him grow his business dramatically, and he is a marriage counselor. What he did was, his no-brainer was your first session is free. And then he had a call screener that would call you to see if you were a good fit, and then if they were, they gave you a free session. And then he's also the highest rated in his city, and this person's still a client and is growing a multi-million-dollar business, and that's how he does it. Yeah. And then what will happen is not you, but other people, because there's a thing called passive-aggressive. It's not you, and I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking over here about other things. People don't want to do anything, so they're looking for excuses to not do them because they went to college and high school. Do you get what I'm saying? So people, okay. So someone will go, yeah, but in my industry, I'm not allowed to ask for reviews because I'm a doctor. And I'm like, well, then you're a poor-ass doctor. Like, well, HIPAA. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't matter. You got to ask for reviews. Well, in my industry, it's different because, and Aaron, you see this all the time.
I do, yeah.
I'm not saying you, but a lot of people, is HIPAA. Yeah, I work with doctors, dentists, lawyers, cosmetic surgeons. You're not like blindsiding people with like a secret review. You're just going, hey, could you leave a review? But most therapists, not the one I'm talking about, but most therapists will go, oh, I just don't want to ask for reviews because I feel like I'm breaking the confidentiality. Okay, then be poor. I don't know. You remember dentists back in the 80s that wouldn't advertise? Because you're not supposed to, because you're unethical if you did. Remember that? Who here was a dentist or worked in medical in the 80s, 90s? And you were told you're not supposed to market because it's unethical for a doctor to market. Remember that? So there's all these kind of weird boundaries that exist that I don't recognize. I'm just trying to help you grow your business. Was that helpful?
Well, therapist and the rapist are both spelled the same way.
Thank you. Okay,
So,
just
I mean,
extra
that's-
space. Okay, yeah, but what question do you have there? Any other question? Is that helpful? Okay, next one. Yeah.
Right. Executing the plan after it's been calendared, taking action.
Yeah, usually what happens is you're going to leave this conference and you're going to be ready to go, and you're going to have someone that you're related to that doesn't care. And they will insert themselves as a block to what you want to do, and then that was where your dreams die. Or you come to the conference like this, you're excited, and then the employee doesn't want it. Have you run into this before? Am I the only one?
I call them dream stealers.
Yeah. So it's like, an example, there were certain members of my family back in the day that said, hey, we should all do a family cruise. Have you ever had this conversation during Thanksgiving? We should do a family cruise. And I go, great, let's book it now. And they're like, what, now? I'm like, we're all here. We're never together. Let's book it now. Well, I'd have to think about it. Okay, think about it. Well, I have to pray about it. Fine, you pray, you think, I'm booking. Let's go. And like, well, I don't know. I have to talk to my daughter. Great, let's call her. Well, I'd have to talk to my son. Let's call him too. Let's have a whole call center. You pray, you think, you call, let's go. And then my uncle pulls me aside and goes, this is a mindless exercise that we do every year where someone suggests something and they're not going to do it. They just want to talk about it, and you're different because you actually do things. So just pretend like you're listening, and then it'll be done soon. And I'm going, okay. He's like, trust me.
Now we know the rules.
No, he's like, my daughters do this. They went to college. They all want to start a business, but they don't. They won't leave it. They won't move out of the house, and they just keep talking about opening a business, and they keep going back and getting more degrees. It's going to happen. Just block it out. Go outside. I'm like, fair. But I'm talking about doing being a doer is different than a hearer. Does that make sense? So it's like if you read Matthew chapter 24 and you're a Christian, who's ever read that chapter? Or Luke 21, you ever read that thing? Okay. If you read that and then you go read the news, you're like, oh, wow, that's what's happening. But a lot of people don't actually believe it. So it's just like a fable or it's a fascinating idea. But I'm talking about doing something, right? So I actually know that when we voted this year, who voted this year? You vote? Did you already vote? We good? We voted? And you voted? Is it concerning to anybody that the guy who's in charge of the election company, Dominion, that's in charge of the security and strategy of our election system, has said openly that he does not like conservatives, and that he said openly on video that the voting machines are connected to the internet? And then he said and investigations began, and he goes, no, they weren't, but he said publicly they were. And he runs into a building during the day while intoxicated and then lies about it, and that's the guy in charge. Is this slightly concerning to anybody? And everybody that I know likes to talk. To quote Kanye West, everybody wants to talk, he says, everybody wants to talk, everybody wants to type, but nobody wants to do boop. Because everybody just wants to talk, everybody just wants to type, but nobody wants to do something. I'm not that way. So I pulled Aaron Antis aside and I said, if they do a lockdown in Tulsa, I would like to sue the mayor of Tulsa. Remember that discussion?
I do.
Yeah. And I called Steve. I said, Steve, if there's a lockdown, we're going to sue the mayor of Tulsa. We're going to turn this building into a church. Remember these conversations?
Yeah.
And we did it. Did we not sue the mayor?
We did sue.
Yeah, he's an idiot. But like a lot of people just want to talk about it, but no one wants to do it. And why didn't most of the people, Aaron, we had about 50 people that said, we will team up with you and sue the mayor too. Why did 45 of them not do it?
Because it would have required their time and their money.
But people just want to talk.
They were worried about their reputation.
Yeah, and reputation.
Yeah.
So you're going to go home and you're going to have to implement this stuff, and somebody on your team is not going to want to do it. So this is physics, okay? So objects remain in motion unless they encounter an object. What happens? And so the objects will stay in motion unless they encounter another object of equal or greater force. So in my office, this is how it goes. We have a great culture here. But in some of my businesses, when we start out, I tell someone, we need to get Google reviews, as I told you with Elephant in the Room, just as an example. And they go, well, we couldn't get any today. I'm going, okay, then I will go into the shops with you, and I will get Google reviews, and we will get Google reviews. We will use the word Google review as a period, as a statement, as a question, as an exclamation point. And I will stay in this building and harass you until you get so many Google reviews that it's easier to get Google reviews than to deal with my verbal abuse. And they kind of rhyme too. Google reviews or verbal abuse, I don't know. But it's like whatever you want. And then magically the team started getting reviews. So you have to figure out, like, are you wanting this to actually happen, or is this just a mythological, mystic, fun idea? And if you want to have real success, you just got to push. And why don't most people, Aaron, and again, Shaw Homes is growing now. You have a great culture, great momentum, great people. But when you first started changing stuff like the website and the print pieces, what kind of pushback were you getting from certain team members that, weren't owners of the company but happened to work there?
Oh, yeah. Regular comments of, that's not the way we do it. That's not the way we have always done it. And I think that might be unethical, or immoral. Or, I just, isn't that illegal to do that?
Illegal,
like we got a lot
immoral.
of these different kinds of comments. And I'm like, I try not to do immoral, unethical, or illegal things. So
I try not to.
There are none of those things.
And I'm just trying to give you examples. But when we decided to take the Reawaken America tour to Oregon, I did not decide that. General Flynn decided to take it to Oregon. Again, who here's from Oregon? So I gave General Flynn my word. That's how I do it. I don't need a contract, but I shake his hand. I'll go to Oregon because he tells me where to go and I do it. Well, then we had like Antifa send us hate letters and emails, and then the Target shut down. I don't know if you know this whole story, but Target shut down in protest, and Home Depot, and the college took a day off to protest us. And then Antifa, I got there at 4 in the morning, and Antifa was there. And they got purple hair, and they all can't figure out what gender they are. So it's kind of hard to attack anyone because they can't figure out what gender they are. But so remember this? There's the security gate. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm just going to go out there and talk to these great people. So I'm like, hey, guys, what's going on? And they're like, no, fascism, 4 in the morning. They just woke up. And I'm going, are you guys, what's your issue? And they're like, well, we're not going to take this in Oregon. I'm like, okay, well, we're going to do the event, and hope you guys have a good time. Goodbye. You know what I mean? But most people don't want confrontation, It's crazy. And then I tried to check into the Holiday Inn, and all these reports on Twitter were coming through that rumor has it Reawaken America tour maybe and Antifa may show up at their events. You remember this? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there was all this threats about what hotel we should stay in because they might know my address and they might attack me. Do you remember what I did? This was in Oregon. Yeah. So I got on the mic and I said, hey, for anybody watching, my address, I'm staying at this hotel and this is my room at the Holiday Inn. Come get me. Ha-ha. And then it was done. But there's just so much, this fear of false evidence appearing real, and it keeps people from doing stuff. So when you leave, you are going to run into some pushback. Because by default, 96% of businesses fail. Sean, pull that up. 96% of businesses fail by default. Stairs, let's do look at the next question here. But again, by default, look that up, folks. 96% of businesses fail. And the reason why all of the companies I do and grow, why they do well, is not because I'm a genius. I just do what works, and I don't care about being liked. I don't know if that's any help to somebody out there. Being liked is not big on my priority list. I mean, if you happen to be the president of the United States, what's the highest approval rating you could possibly hope for?
If you're Joe Biden, probably 12%.
Okay. But I mean, if you are like the most popular president ever.
Like 51, maybe.
51, 52. It's very rare to have 70%, 60%. I mean, so I'm just saying, like, if you're seeking universal approval, you're not going to have any success. You got to know what works and then do it. Next question there, Stairs.
Clay, it looks like we may have a question about 13-point assessments.
For anybody that does want to schedule a consultation with us, where is Sarah? Is she here, or is Devin here? Or is Sarah and Devin here? There you go. That's Sarah. You can schedule those with Sarah, and then I will personally meet with you. And just to be super clear on how that works, Sarah would book a time, and it's just you and I on a phone call to figure out where you're at versus where you want to be. And if you want us to help you, great. If not, no worries. And we charge a flat rate just so that you don't get unexpected bills. And then that's how that works. So $1,700 a month. It's month to month. That's the whole thing. And you can schedule those with Sarah. And if you don't want to schedule with Sarah, that's super fine too. I want to keep going here. We're going to open our book here to page to page 473. 473. So we talked about 1,000 words of content per page. Stairs, what if somebody leaves here and doesn't write 1,000 words of content per page?
Well, your website will most likely not rank.
Yeah.
And that's it. So you'll have a website, but it just won't rank.
Okay. Page 474.
There you go.
You have to have an XML sitemap that's compliant. How many of you remember the VCR?
Oh, yeah.
Who remembers Blockbuster?
Be kind and rewind.
Yeah. So how many of you know the technology is always changing? There's always updates. So how many of you have an iPhone? Who of those who used to have a Nokia? You know, the do-do-do-do. Remember that? The roaming? Remember roaming? You weren't allowed to leave a certain area. So you're like, Mom, I'll call you when I get to Okmulgee because it's outside of my green zone. Remember that? Maybe they were getting us ready for quarantine camps back then. I don't know. Okay, so the idea, though, is that you would not, it was like the idea that people would use the internet on their phone was not an idea that people were having. So and I've been doing consulting personally since 2005. So when I first started doing consulting, yellow pages were a big thing, and most of my clients had big ads. And then the website was important, but not super important. But then that shifted, and now the website's important, but your mobile compliance is really important. And then Google reviews became more important because our culture became less socially connected. I don't know if this makes any sense, but how many of you know that people today socialize less face-to-face than they used to? And so if you do research, you can get into this, but most people now are reporting they trust anonymous Google reviews more than reviews from a neighbor or friend.
It's like 80%.
It's crazy. And you can do all sorts of, so now Google reviews really matter, but they didn't matter before. And now that Google reviews matter, now video reviews matter more. And Steve, I want to ask you, why do video reviews matter more now than they did when Google reviews first came out? Why would a video review matter more now than
You can't fake a video review.
There it is.
I mean, it's just a lot harder to fake a real person getting on video and saying, I like this business, or versus typing behind a Gmail account.
Okay, so again, these are all, and so every time if you come to these conferences, some of my clients I've worked with for over a decade, the key is focus on a three-legged marketing stool that works and implement those processes over and over and over and over and over. And then back to the fitness guy. The fitness guy, Elite Training, has done so well with one location, he opened up, I think, 3 more or 2 more. And so he's rocking and rolling, and you can scale it out that way. And then the next path would be to franchise or license. And if your business is complicated, why can't you license it? Stairs, why couldn't you franchise a business that's very complicated?
No, why can't you franchise it? Or
A business that's very complicated. If it's very complicated, why can't you franchise it?
Oh, it's just because other people aren't going to be able to follow the complex. It's got to be simplicity scales, complexity fails.
I don't want to mention the names of these people, but I'm just giving examples of some people we know, but please do not mention their names because I don't want to mention them.
Bob.
No, and I'm just saying this is big. We know people.
Are you talking about Mike?
Don't mention their, I'm serious, don't though. There's people that I know who own franchises and don't like the company they own. And they openly talk about it. Like, I hate the franchise. I'm like, you are now a multimillionaire and live in an 8,000 square foot house that's debt free, and you have so much time freedom. Like, yeah, but corporate's on my ass. And I'm like, and how are they on your ass? They make me follow the brand standards, and they fined me again because my bathrooms were dirty, those communist bastards. I'm like, you would never have been successful without the franchise. So they, well, yeah, it's true, but I hate those guys. They don't give me the freedom I need. I'm like, if the freedom that you're describing looks anything like the inside of your car, we don't want that freedom. So if you own if you have a franchise, most people who buy a franchise are buying it because they want to have a proven system that works. The best example I can give you in Tulsa, and I'm not mentioning names, but I'm just giving you ideas. These are real things. There's a guy I know who's very, 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 very heavy, who owns a lot of fitness franchises, and he has had very interesting conversations with me about fitness, and they're super funny. And Charles, you would get a laugh out of this. We were talking, and I go, can I ask you, why did you get into the fitness business? He goes, well, most people, including myself, are out of shape. I go, it's fair. And I'm not going to ask the follow-up question, like, do you work? I'm not going to. And he goes, no, I'm not. And he says, don't ask. But I'm going to tell you, don't ask. But here's the thing. A lot of people spend 1 hour a day working out to maintain and optimize their health and to live longer. And I have sat down and done the math, and I've decided I'd rather die earlier than to work out. So I don't work out, and I don't want to work out, and so I'll probably die in my 70s, and other people will die in their 90s, but I don't care. So there it is. But he owns a very successful fitness business. It's a real thing. I also know of a guy who sells houses, but has like a kind of a double-wide trailer existence. Like, he personally lives like off the grid, tiny home kind of thing, but he sells very nice houses because he doesn't care about nice houses. So I'm saying these examples on the extremes because it is possible to have a business that is scalable by people that don't even like it. You know, one of the top franchise owners I know who does carpet cleaning, he actually doesn't like carpet at all, and he only has wood floors in every place he lives. But yet he owns a carpet cleaning franchise, but he would tell you openly you should never have carpet. But he has a carpet cleaning business. Does that make sense? I know of a cosmetic dentist who has openly said that he doesn't want to have said procedures that he will give to his patients. But he'll give patients the procedures, but he just doesn't do it because he doesn't care. It's just like you don't have to, there's not like a hypocrisy if somebody is selling something that they don't personally want to use, and that's the beauty of franchising. You know, if a guy owns a Domino, the guy who brought some of the cars, Eddie?
Yeah, Eddie.
The Domino's, he doesn't have to eat Domino's every day and have a disproportionate love for pizza to do well as a Domino's guy. He does, though. Okay, fair. Does that make sense? So you want to build the systems, and so what I'm helping a couple people right now, I'm helping them scale their company, and I'm helping them get through the idea that, hey, the person who wants to buy your franchise and is probably the best fit for you is someone who doesn't actually like the product. And they're like, huh? I'm like, yeah, because their lack of love for the product makes them just follow the systems only, and they don't want to dabble and try to tweak it. They'll just blindly follow it because all they want to do is make money. Make sense? Is that helpful? Okay. Now, the next part I want to go to here. This is page 475. You want to have a clickable phone number. Stairs, why do you want to have a clickable phone number on your website?
This mainly goes back to the mobile compliance. Most people nowadays are searching on their phones, not on a desktop computer. So you want to make sure that your phone number on your homepage is clickable, meaning they can just touch the phone number and it calls your company.
Got that? Okay. So now we're moving on to page 476. You want to have sociable, you want to have, or page 477, you want to have social proof. Now, social proof is where someone who's not you verifies that you are legit. Who here liked hip-hop music in the early 2000s? Okay, so the way hip-hop worked is like Usher was an established R&B artist, right? So Jermaine Dupri would have Usher, it would be Jermaine Dupri featuring Usher, and that's how Usher got introduced to the world. Or it would be Usher featuring Justin Bieber, and that's how Justin Bieber gets introduced to the world. Or it's Ludacris featuring, makes sense? So it's like Puff Daddy featuring Notorious B.I.G. It's somebody who's already established is introducing somebody new to the marketplace. Make sense? So you need to have on your website social proof, and that could either be as like a news feature, like you've been featured on the news, or that can be Google reviews, that could be video reviews, but you need somebody who's not you verifying that you're real. So by show of hands, how many of you have ever paid a contractor to do work and you went in with full faith and you paid them and they didn't do the job? Or they didn't do the job right? Show of hands. Look around there. Yeah, so people are typically gun shy of that. People in the school business, I work with a lot of people in schools. You really don't want to send your kid to a bad school. Dentists, why is it so important if you're going to have dental procedures or surgeries? Why would you want to go to a dentist, Steve, with the highest reviews as opposed to a dentist with a 3.2?
So don't mess up your grill. It's your moneymaker, bro. Jack you up.
I had, don't mention the guy's name, but there's a surgeon that we know, and on WebMD, he had like a 1.2. And he's like, I don't understand. And Steve had referred him. It ended up not being a good fit. But he was like, I just don't understand why my leads are low. And I'm like, well, I know why they're low. If we look you up, you have a 1.2. And nobody wants to have surgery from a guy with a 1.2. And he's like, no one ever reads reviews in my industry. And I'm like, do you think someone who's going to have surgery on their body is not going to look up this doctor? And he's like, well, the only reason I only have all bad reviews is because I don't want to ask for good reviews.
Yeah, that's smart.
Wisdom.
And why is it by default you only get bad reviews? Can someone tell me that?
Because you suck?
Stop it.
No.
Why is that? Why is it that by default you only get bad reviews?
People get pissed, and that's why they're leaving a review, because they're mad. He would have had a
by
0.9.
by default, people will only take action when they're really angry.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do real quick here is we're going to take just like a 5-minute stretch break, and I'm going to draw the first helicopter winner, because you can tell there's a helicopter because you can hear the. Okay, so we're going to do our first helicopter winner here in just a second. And if you haven't left a Google review, you don't have to, but if you want a chance to win a helicopter ride or a flat screen TV, just look up Thrive Time Show on Google, leave a review. Sean, play some music. We're going to come back in 5 minutes. It's a 5-minute stretch here. Then we're headed down the final stretch, the final 25 minutes here, and we're going to give away some helicopter trips, helicopter winners, okay? So we'll take just a second, leave some Google reviews if you want a chance to win.
The number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year. We are Jared and Jennifer Johnson. We own Platinum Pest and Lawn and are located in Owasso, Oklahoma. And we have been working with Thrive for business coaching for almost a year now.
Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to share some wins with you guys that we've had by working with Thrive. First of all, we're on the top page of Google now. Okay. I just want to let you know what type of accomplishment this is. Our competition, Orkin, Terminex, they're both $1.3 billion companies. They both have 2,000 to 3,000 pages of content attached to their website. So to basically go from virtually non-existent on Google to up on the top page is really saying something. But that's come by being diligent to the systems that Thrive has, by being consistent and diligent on doing podcasts and staying on top of those podcasts to really help with getting up on with their listing and ranking there with Google.
And also we've been trying to get Google reviews, asking our customers for reviews. And now we're the highest rated and most reviewed pest and lawn company in the Tulsa area. And that's really helped with our conversion rate. And the number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year.
Wait, say that again. How much are we up?
411%.
Okay, so 411% we're up with our new customers. Amazing.
Right. So not only do we have more customers calling in, we're able to close those deals at a much higher rate than we were before. Right now, our closing rate is about 85%, and that's largely due to, first of all, like our Google reviews that we've gotten people really see that our customers are happy, but also we have a script that we follow. And so when customers call in, they get all the information that they need. That script has been refined time and time again. It wasn't a one and done deal. It was a system that we followed with Thrive in the refining process, and that has obviously the 411% shows that system works.
Yeah. So here's a big one for you. So last week alone, our booking percentage was 91%. We actually booked more deals, more new customers last year than we did the first 5 months. Or I'm sorry, we booked more deals last week than we did the first 5 months of last year from before we worked with Thrive. So again, we booked more deals last week than the first 5 months of last year. And it's incredible. But the reason why we have that success is by implementing the systems that Thrive has taught us and helped us out with. So.
Some of those systems that we've implemented are group interviews. That way we've really been able to come up with a really great team. We've created and implemented checklists. That way everything gets done and it gets done right. It creates accountability. We're able to make sure that everything gets done properly, both out in the field and also in our office. And also doing the podcast, like Jared had mentioned, that has really, really contributed to our success. But that, like I said, the diligence and consistency in doing those and that system has really, really been a big blessing in our lives. And also, it's really shown that we've gotten the success from following those systems.
Yeah. So before working with Thrive, we were basically stuck. Really no new growth with our business. And we were in a rut and we didn't know.
The last 3 years, our customer base had pretty much stayed the same. We weren't shrinking, but we weren't really growing either.
Yeah, and so we didn't really know where to go, what to do, how to get out of this rut that we're in. But Thrive helped us with that. They implemented those systems. They taught us those systems. They taught us the knowledge that we needed in order to succeed. Now it's been a grind. Absolutely, it's been a grind this last year. But we're getting those fruits from that hard work and the diligent effort that we're able to put into it. So again, we were in a rut. Thrive helped us get out of that rut. And if you're thinking about working with Thrive, quit thinking about it and just do it. Do the action, and you'll get the results. It will take hard work and discipline, but that's what it's going to take in order to really succeed. So we just want to give a big shout out to Thrive, a big thank you out there to Thrive. We wouldn't be where we're at now without their help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Moore. I'm a pediatric dentist. Through our new digital marketing plan, we have seen a marked increase in the number of new patients that we're seeing every month, year over year. 1 month, for example, we went from 110 new patients the previous year to over 180 new patients in the same month. And overall, our average is running about 40 to 42% increase month over month, year over year. The group of people required to implement our new digital marketing plan is immense, starting with a business coach, videographers, photographers, web designers. Back when I graduated dental school in 1985, nobody advertised. The only marketing that was ethically allowed in everybody's eyes was mouth-to-mouth marketing. By choosing to use the services, you're choosing to use a proven turnkey marketing and coaching system that will grow your practice and get you the results that you're looking for. I went to the University of Oklahoma College of Dentistry, graduated in 1983, and then I did my pediatric dental residency at Baylor College of Dentistry from 1983 to 1985.
Hello, my name is Charles Colaw with Colaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy's just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Cockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours, where he does these tours all across the country, where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. So I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. Critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy. Elon Musk, kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant, and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down, because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company, or navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns, because our clubs were all closed for.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us.
This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See? It's nice, right?
So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
The Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet. You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy with Tip Top Canine, and I'm the founder.
I'm Rachel Wimpy, and I am a co-founder.
So we've been running Tip Top for about the last 14 years, franchising for the last 3-4 years. So someone that'd be a good fit for Tip Top loves dogs, they're high energy, they want to be able to own their own job, but they don't want to worry about, that high failure rate. They want to do that like bowling with bumper lanes.
So you give us a call, reach out to us, we'll call you, and then we'll send you an FDD, look over that, read it, fall asleep to it, it's very boring, and then we'll book a discovery day, and you come and you can spend a day or two with us to make sure that you actually like it, make sure training dogs is something that you want to do.
So an FDD is a franchise disclosure document. It's a federally regulated document that goes into all the nitty-gritty details of what the franchise agreement entails.
So who would be a good fit to buy a Tip Top Canine would be somebody who loves dogs, who wants to work with dogs all day as their profession. You'll make a lot of money, you'll have a lot of fun, it's very rewarding. And who would not be a good fit is a cat person.
So the upfront cost for Tip Top is $43,000. And a lot of people say they're generating doctor money, but on our disclosure, the numbers are anywhere from over $1 million a year in dog training, what our Oklahoma City location did last year, to 25, 35 grand a month.
To train and get trained by us for Tip Top Canine, to run your own Tip Top Canine, you would be with us for 6 weeks here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
So we've been married for 7 years.
8 years.
8 years. So if you're watching this video, you're like, hey, maybe I want to be a dog trainer. Hey, that one sounds super amazing. Go to our website, tiptopcanine.com, click on the yellow franchising tab, fill out the form, and Rachel and I will give you a call. Our Oklahoma City location last year, they did over $1 million. He's been running that shop for 3 years. Before, he was a youth pastor with 0 sales experience, 0 dog training experience before he ever met with us.
So just call us, come spend a day with us, spend a couple days with us, make sure you like training dogs, and own your own business.
Well, the biggest reason to buy a Tip Top Canine is so you own your own job and you own your own future, and you don't hate your life. You get an enjoyable job that brings a lot of income, but is really rewarding.
My name is Seth Flint, and I had originally heard about Tip Top Canine through my old pastors who I worked for. They trained their Great Pyrenees with Ryan and Tip Top Canine. They did a phenomenal job and became really good friends with Ryan and Rachel. I was working at a local church, and it was a great experience. I ended up leaving there and working with Ryan and Tip Top Canine. The biggest thing that I really enjoy about being self-employed is that I can create my own schedule. I have the ability to spend more time with my family, my wife and my daughter. So my very favorite thing about training dogs with Tip Top Canine is that I get to work with the people. Obviously, I love working with dogs, but it's just so rewarding to be able to train a dog that had serious issues, whether it's behavioral or whatever, and seeing a transformation, taking that dog home, and mom and dad are literally in tears because of how happy they are with the training. If somebody is interested, I'd say don't hesitate. Make sure you like dogs. Make sure that you enjoy working with people because we're not just dog trainers. We are customer service people that help dogs, and so definitely don't hesitate. Just come in and ask questions. Ask all the questions you have.